in this lecture, we'll study about what is superposition theorem, how superposition theorem can be used to simplify the given circuit, which consists of more than one voltage source. So in electrical science, we'll study four theorems. One is superposition theorem, then Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem, and maximum power transfer theorem. So coming to superposition theorem, first and foremost thing is that superposition theorem can be applicable only to linear circuits. And where we can apply the superposition theorem can be applied to a circuit which consists of more than one source. That means if any circuit it is having more than one independent source, then we can go for a superposition theorem. And superposition theorem is valid only for a linear circuits. It cannot be applicable to non-linear circuits. So you should understand what is meant by linear circuit, or else what is meant by linear quantity. If at all any behavior or any physical behavior can be represented with a linear algebraic equation or linear differential equation or linear integral equation, then that particular circuit is called linear circuit. So given the circuit, you can represent the circuit using a linear algebraic equations or linear equations, then that circuit is said to be a linear circuit. So if at all you take a simple voltage source connected across the resistance, the behavior of the circuit, I can say V is equal to Ri. So one simple voltage source connected across the resistance can be represented by a simple equation V is equal to Ri. Then that circuit is called as a linear circuit. Now what a superposition theorem says that the total current in any particular branch or voltage across any particular branch is equal to sum of voltages and currents considering each source at a time and replacing the remaining sources with their internal resistance. Let us assume a superposition theorem with a physical example or a real life example. For example, there are both parents are earning. So I can say the total pocket money received by you is equal to sum of the pocket money, algebraic sum of pocket money given by your mother plus father. Okay, so how I can come to conclusion total money, pocket money received by a particular student is, first I will consider only your father is paying you the pocket money. So let he has paid 1500 rupees. Then I will consider only your mother is paying you pocket money. I will calculate it as 2000 rupees. Then I can say the total pocket money received by a particular student is equal to 1500 plus 2000, that is 3500. The same superposition theorem is that if at all you want to find out voltage across a circuit or current through a particular element, consider each voltage source or each current source at a time, find out its contribution towards the current or voltage. Then if there are three voltage sources in a circuit, so first we will consider only one source replacing other source with a equivalent internal resistance, calculate I dash. Then I'll consider second voltage source only is present in the circuit. Then I'll calculate I double dash. In third case, I'll consider only third voltage source is present in the circuit. I'll find out I triple dash. So then I can say total current flowing in that particular element when three sources are present is I dash plus I double dash plus I triple dash. So remember, superposition theorem is applicable only to linear elements. Therefore, superposition theorem can be used to calculate current and voltage, but not power. Why? Because power is a non-linear element. You know, P is equal to V square by R or I square into R. So that is Y is equal to mx square. So Y is equal to mx square is not a linear equation. Okay, now whenever you want to consider only one voltage source, we have to replace all the other voltage sources or current sources with their internal resistances. Remember, we have to replace only independent voltage sources or current sources. So how we can replace a voltage source which is present when you don't want to consider that particular voltage source? So let us take first current source. Whenever you are when you don't want to consider a current source, the internal resistance of independent current source is infinity. The internal resistance of independent current source is infinity. So whenever you don't want to consider a current source, replace that current source with open circuit. Understand? So for example, there is a circuit which current consists of 10 amps current source. I don't want to consider 10 amps current source. So replace that current source branch with a open circuit. So whenever you are applying a superposition theorem, you are considering first voltage source. You have to replace all other voltage and current sources in a circuit. Then wherever there is a current source, replace that current source with an open circuit. Now coming to voltage source. The voltage source internal resistance is 0. Independent voltage source internal resistance is 0. So whenever you don't want to consider a particular voltage source in a circuit, we have to replace that voltage source with a short circuit, because short circuit is the element whose resistance is 0. Whereas open circuit is the circuit branch where R is equal to infinity. So we are replacing the current source with their internal resistance. So remove the current source with open circuit. We are replacing the voltage sources with their internal resistance. Remove the voltage source and replace it with short circuit. Okay, so in this way, whenever you are considering one voltage source, replace all other voltage and current source with their internal resistance. So what are the steps in applying superposition theorem? So first consider one independent source. Let this is V1. So replace all other independent sources with their internal resistance. For example, the circuit consists of 3 voltage sources, 2 current sources. If you are considering one voltage source, remaining 2 voltage sources should be replaced by short circuit. 2 current sources should be replaced with open circuit. So with only one independent voltage source, find out voltage or current in a particular branch. Note it as I dash or I1. Similarly, you repeat for all other sources. If at all it consists of 3 voltage sources, 3 circuits you will be getting, 3 current responses, then the total current flowing in particular branch is equal to sum of the individual responses. So repeat the step 1 for each independent source. After finding out the current with each independent source taken into consideration, then the total current is equal to sum of the individual currents, and we need to algebraically sum the currents or voltages. If the value is a negative, you have to take into negative consideration. If it is a positive, you have to take positive into consideration. So we can understand better about superposition theorem if you consider a simple example. Let us consider this example. In this example, it consists of 3 resistors and 2 voltage sources. First step is, as it consists of more than one voltage source or current source, we can apply the superposition theorem. Superposition theorem states that consider only one voltage source at a time, replace all other voltage and current sources with internal resistance, find out the current. So let us find out when only 10 volts is there, we have to replace 20 volts with short circuit. When you consider only 20 volts at a time, then we have to replace 10 volts with a short circuit. You can see first circuit is the one wherein we can determine, we are finding out the current, okay, through 18 ohms branch, considering only 10 volts. So what happened to 20 volts? We are replacing the 20 volts with short circuit. Second case, consider only 20 volts is there in a circuit, then replace the 10 volts with a short circuit. You can see the 10 volts is replaced with a short circuit. So now we got 2 circuits. Find out current with only 10 volts present in a circuit. Find out current with only 20 volts in a circuit. Then the total current when both the voltages are present is equal to sum of the individual currents. Let this current you got is I dash. Let the current here you got is I double dash. Then total current is equal to I dash plus I double dash. Okay, so first, as soon as the problem is given, find out how many voltage sources or current sources are there. Draw that many circuits. When you are considering one voltage source, replace all the other voltage sources with short circuit and current sources with open circuit. Once you got the resultant circuits, use nodal analysis or mesh analysis or KCL, KVL, network reduction, any method, you find out current through each and every circuit, then total is equal to sum of the individual currents. Let us solve this problem. Okay, when you are considering one voltage source, other sources are replaced with internal resistance, because the voltage source it is voltage source, we are replacing with short circuit. If it is a current source, we might have done open circuit. So first circuit one, you can use KVL, you can use KCL, you can use nodal analysis, you can do mesh analysis. But better method is, because the circuit consists of only resistors and voltage source, I can go for a mesh analysis from direct inspection method. So what mesh analysis from direct inspection method consists of? So it consists of two meshes, right? Let this current is I1, let this current is I2. Directly I can write down the final matrix equation. So the final matrix equation is sum of all resistors in a first loop, that is 19. And the resistance common between first loop and second loop, minus of the resistance common between first loop and second loop. 1 2 element is equal to 2 1 element. And then 2 2 element is sum of all resistors in a second loop, that is 20. So how many unknowns are there? Two unknowns. First unknown is I1. Second unknown is I2. Which is equal to, in a first loop, there is a voltage source. When you travel in a clockwise direction, I am touching minus to plus 10 volts. If minus to 10 plus 10 volts is sent to right hand side, it will become plus 10 volts. In a second loop, there is no voltage source, 0. This is the simplest method. Apart from this method, you can do any other method. Okay, you can go for a nodal analysis, you can go for a, these two are in parallel, which is in series. After that, find out total current, then use current division law. Okay, so I'm going for a direct mesh analysis method from inspection. Directly I can write down the matrix equation. First diagonal element is sum of all resistors in a particular loop, and off diagonal elements is find out the resistance which is common between first mesh and second mesh. With a negative sign, you write down. On the right hand side, if you are encountering minus to plus, taking to right hand side, it is plus voltage. If there is no voltage source right hand side, it will become 0. So on simplifying, you can use your calculator or you can use Cramer's rule. You will get I1, I2 as 3.57 amperes and 3.214 amperes. But what I am interested in I2B, right? I1B is 3.57. I2B is, he has given in this circuit, I2B is opposite to your I2. Okay, so I2B is equal to minus of I2, that is minus 3.214. So total current is I1B plus I2B, that is, you can find out the total current 3.57 minus 3.214 amperes. Now coming to second circuit, see, if at all I'll go for this method, almost all this matrix will remain same. You can add up, you can take this as a I1, consider this as a I2. Sum of all resistors in a first loop, 19. Sum of all resistors in a second loop, 20. Off diagonal element, 18 ohm resistance is common between first mesh and second mesh. Therefore, minus 18, minus 18. So unknown current is I1, I2. Here it will change. Considering the second circuit, now in first loop or first mesh, there is no voltage source, it will become 0. When you travel in a second loop, you are touching plus to minus. So take the plus to minus 20 volts to right hand side, it will become minus 20. So directly we can write down the final inspection, final equations by inspection method. Then we can simplify what is I1 and what is I2. Considering the current directions given in a problem, I1C is equal to small I1, I2C is equal to minus of small I2. Because small I2 is flowing in left to right direction, I2C is flowing in opposite direction. So superposition theorem says that total current I1 is equal to I1B plus I1C. And total current I2 is equal to I2B, sum of individual currents, plus I2C. Okay. So total current I1C, I1 is equal to I1B plus I1C. I2 is equal to I2B plus I2C. So that is your total current. So total current flowing I1 is equal to minus 2.86 amperes and I2 is equal to 3.56 amperes. Then the total current flowing in a central limb, that is I1 plus I2 is equal to I1 plus I2, that is 0.7 amperes. You can cross check whether our superposition theorem is correct or not. How we can cross check is very simple method. Apply the inspection method directly to this circuit and try to find out I1 and I2. So if at all you go for an inspection method directly to this circuit, so the diagonal elements is 1 plus 18, that is 19. Half diagonal element is minus 18. Half diagonal 1 2 element is equal to 2 1, and then total number of resistors in a second loop is 20, and then multiplied with small I1 and then small I2, which is equal to, here it is going to change. So when you travel like this in the first loop, you are touching minus to plus 10 volts. On the right hand side, it will become plus 10 volts. If you travel in a clockwise direction in a second mesh, you are touching plus to minus of 20 volts. So it will become minus 20 volts. You use your calculator, try to find out small I1, which is equal to capital I1. Try to find out small I2, which is equal to minus of capital I2. Then add I1 plus I2. So you'll get the same answer. So then you can cross check with the answer which you got from a superposition theorem. You should get I1 as minus 2.86 amperes and I2 as 3.566 amperes. Okay, so let us calculate the current using superposition theorem for a given circuit. So first we have to cross check whether it consists of any dependent sources. So the given circuit does not have a dependent sources. Remember, if there is any dependent source, you should not replace the dependent source with voltage short circuit or open circuit. Only we have to remove the independent voltage sources and current sources. So how many circuits we need to draw? We need to draw 3 circuits. First circuit considering only 12 volts at a time, then replacing that time 24 volts with short circuit and 3 amperes with open circuit. If at all you are going to consider only 24 volts, then we have to replace this 12 volts with short circuit, replace this 3 amperes with open circuit. When you consider only 3 amperes, replace this 24 volts with short circuit and 12 volts with short circuit. So when 12 volts is there, let the current is I dash. When only 24 volts is there, let the current determined is I double dash. If only 3 amperes is taken into consideration, let us consider it is I triple dash. Then as per the superposition theorem, total current I is equal to I dash plus I1, I dash plus I double dash plus I triple dash. Okay, so I'll just I will just give a pass. You can try to draw the circuits. Later I'll show how to draw the circuits. So draw the 3 circuits considering first circuit with only 12 volts, then consider only 24 volts, replace other voltage source and current sources with their equivalent resistances, and then third case consider only 3 amp circuit, replace other voltage sources with short circuit. Try to draw the circuits. So first circuit is As I said, first I am going to consider only 12 volts. When you consider only 12 volts, this should be short circuited, this should be open circuited. Okay, so considering only 12 volts, replacing 24 volts voltage source with short circuit and current source with open circuit. As you can see, in this circuit, it consists of only 12 volts. Now, when this is open circuit, no current will flow through this branch. Okay, no current will flow through the particular branch. Then we can go for a mesh analysis. Now the circuit consists of only one voltage source and the resistances. Either you can go with a mesh analysis, you can go with a nodal analysis, but if you apply the mesh analysis, let the current flowing in this particular mesh is I1, let the current flowing in second mesh is I2. So using inspection method, directly I can write down the final equations, and thereby I can find out current I dash is equal to I2 only. Whatever the current flowing through 3 ohms, here because of open circuit, no current flows in this branch. The current in this mesh is equal to 0. So only current flowing through 3 ohms is I2. Okay. So therefore, after solving this circuit, you will find out I1 and I2. I2 is equal to I dash. So directly we can write down 2 by 2 matrix. Sum of all resistors in a first loop, 8 plus 4 plus 4. So 16. Then the resistance common between first mesh and second mesh is 4 ohms resistance. So we have to take it as a minus 4. And the resistance common between second mesh and first mesh, 1 2 element is equal to 2 1 element. And then here sum of all resistors in a second loop. One is 4 ohms, another is 3 ohms. This will not come under second mesh. So only if you travel like this, only we are encountering with 4 ohms and 3 ohms. So it is going to get 7. So multiplied with I1 and I2, two unknown currents, which is equal to, we need to add the voltage values. Okay, if you travel in a first loop, there are no voltage sources, therefore 0. If you travel in a second loop, in a clockwise direction, I am touching minus to plus. If minus to plus is taken to right hand side, it will become plus. So plus 12 volts. Once you got this, I have explained how to use your calculator to determine I1 and I2. Okay, so we have replaced the voltage source with short circuit, current source with open circuit. Directly we are written from inspection method the mesh analysis equations. Once you simplify, I got I1 as 0.5 amperes, I2 as 2 amperes. As I said, the I dash is equal to I2. So I dash is equal to, with only one voltage source, current through 3 ohms is 2 amperes. Now second case is, consider only 24 volts. Consider only 24 volts. When you consider only 24 volts, 12 volts is replaced with short circuit. Current source is replaced with open circuit. Still no current will flow through this mesh because of the open circuit. So please you can directly write down the equations. It is a 2 by 2 matrix. Add all the resistors in a first mesh. So obviously it will become 16. The A matrix will remain almost all same. This will become minus 4 and this is also minus 4, and then this element is 7. Multiplied with X matrix will also remain same, that is I1 and I2, which is equal to, here AX is equal to B. I am considering as equation. This is A matrix, X matrix, B matrix will change. So in a first loop, there is a voltage source. So we are touching plus to minus. So 24 volts on the left hand side. If you take on right hand side, it will become minus 24. And there is no voltage source now because we are replacing 12 volts voltage source with short circuit. So therefore it will become 0. Use your calculator, find out I1, I2. Now you got I2 is equal to minus 1 ampere. So I double dash I double dash is equal to I2, that is minus 1 ampere. Very simple. Now third case, you should consider only current source. Then you replace this voltage sources with a short circuit. So when you consider only 3 amperes alone, we need to replace the voltage sources with short circuit. We can see 12 volts voltage source is replaced with short circuit, as well as 24 volts voltage source is also replaced with short circuit. Now if we carefully observe, this is a circuit. You can use mesh analysis, but as the circuit consists of only resistors and current sources, I can go for a nodal analysis from direct inspection method. Okay, I can go for a nodal analysis with direct inspection method. So this I am considering it as a reference node. So let this voltage, node voltage is V1, let this node voltage is V2. So how to write down the mesh analysis, node analysis with direct inspection method is, first identify the reference node, and then remaining nodes you indicate it as V1 and V2. I have not written any voltage because there is a dead short circuit. The potential of this point is also 0. So you can see this is all reference node. Complete node, this complete area is considered as a ground potential or a reference node because there is no branch in between that. Okay, so now how to write, first step is convert all the resistors into the conductances. So what is the resistance values given? 8 ohm should be converted into conductance. 1 by 8 will become 0.125. Replace this conductance resistance with conductance. 1 by 4 will become 0.25. And this will become 1 by 4, 0.25. And then 1 by 3, 0.33. So first step we have done to write a final matrix equation for node analysis by inspection method. So it consists of two unknown node voltages connected to first node, that is 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 3. And off diagonal element is find out the conductance which is common between first node and second node, minus 1 by 4. 1 2 element is equal to 2 1 element. Then coming to next, add all the conductances which are connected to node 2. One is 1 by 4, another is 1 by 8. Okay, 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8. V1, V2. You can see there is no current source directly connected to V1, therefore 0. The current source is incoming current, therefore positive current. If you simplify that, you will get V1, you will get V2. But I am finding out I triple dash. Current with only 3 amperes current source. So I triple dash is equal to V1 minus 0 divided by 3. So 1 ampere. Now you got 3 currents. With only one voltage source, it is that with only 12 volts, it is 2 amperes. With only 24, it is minus 1 ampere. With only 3 amps, it is 1 ampere. So total current as per the superposition theorem is 2 amperes. Total current as per the superposition theorem is 2 amperes. So we can find out whether this is correct or not by simply applying the mesh analysis for the given circuit. So if at all you apply the mesh analysis for this given circuit, you can see this is the I3 current flowing. From inspection, I can say I3 is equal to minus 3 amperes. Then we can write down the KVL equation for the mesh first current, that is 8I1 plus 24 plus 4 into I1 minus I3 plus 4 into I1 minus I2. Second equation will be minus 2 plus. So minus 12 plus 4 into I2 minus I1 plus 3 into I2 minus I3. So now you can see in these two equations, there are 3 currents. So you cannot solve the equations for 3 unknowns given 2 equations. So third equation, you can consider it as a minus 3. So you can put these equations in a standard matrix format and then you can solve it. Thereby you can find out the current I2 and I3. So what is I? I is the current flowing through the 3 ohms resistance. So I2 is flowing in downward direction, I3 is flowing in upward direction. So I is equal to I2 minus I3, that is -1 minus of -3, 2 amperes. So hence superposition theorem is proved.